Welcome, friends. Welcome back to the kitchen. Welcome back to another episode of, I guess, making a cake. It's early January. I'm trying to film as many of the recipe videos that we need to take us into probably the end of June at this point. Um, I've got a lot going on this summer, so I'm trying to load as many as I can before I need to do other things. And we'll get into that. But today we're going to make a modified pound cake. And what I mean by modified is we've swapped out cream cheese for most of the butter, and the proportions are tweaked a little bit. But essentially, it is a pound cake. Pound of fat, pound of flour, pound of sugar, pound of egg. That is the general framework for a pound cake. But in most instances, when you see a pound cake today, it's kind of the same proportions, but cut down because not everybody needs a pound of everything in order to make it work. So, into the stand mixer, I'm going to put some butter and a block of cream cheese. And if you live in the United States and Canada, a block of cream cheese is not a block of cream cheese. It's not the same amount in both countries. And so if you live in the United States, just make up the difference with a little bit more butter. So we'll just soften that. So while that's creaming together, I'll explain a little bit why I'm doing so many recipes at the beginning of the year, front-loading everything so that I can take time off. In February, March, I'm going to be upgrading Mike Victor Uniform, our airplane, over on the airplane channel, for IFR flight, adding some new electronics and upgrading the plane. And then April and May, or the end of March, April, May, this is the plan, I will be upgrading the pilot to fly IFR. And then at the beginning of June, I'm going to be flying again in Give Hope Wings, Hope Air Fundraiser. Hope Air is a charity here in Canada that helps people that live in more remote communities get to the larger urban centers where they can receive treatment not available where they live. Things like cancer treatment, certain types of operations, et cetera, et cetera. There are a lot of communities, far-reaching communities in Canada that could take you 8, 10, 12 hours to get to some of those larger centers. And as much as our healthcare in Canada is universal, free and open to anyone and everyone who just shows up at the door, you have to get to the door. And for some of these communities, it's exceedingly difficult to do. So Hope Air sort of bridges that gap. They use private pilots like myself to fly people from these smaller flying communities to a larger community where they can then get on a commercial airline to get them to someplace like Toronto, Montreal, Winnipeg, St. John's, Vancouver, that sort of thing. You get the idea. And Hope Air also helps them out with hotel rooms and even transit at the end. When they get to the hotel room, Hope Air has hooked up with Uber as one of the corporate sponsors to get people from the hotel to treatment at the hospital. Hope Air really is sort of an end-to-end charity for Canadians in need. Once again, I'll be flying to raise money for them. And over the last couple of years, you, my viewers, have been incredibly generous. Last year, 2024, we raised just about $40,000 for the charity. And when I say we, I mean you. You helped by raising that money. So this is early 2025. I have a feeling that 2025 is going to be a special, difficult type of year for a lot of people. And I think that just means that the need is greater than ever. So if this is something that aligns with your values, I will put links below that you can check out Hope Air, check out what they do, take a look at what their mandate is, and if at all possible, you can follow the other link to donate some money to the cause. Okay, looking pretty good. Let's put in some flour. Oh, I should probably mix the baking powder in with the flour. Now, when I said modified, this is one of the other modifications that I'm doing. We're going to do sort of a reverse creaming method, which means that instead of putting the sugar in and creaming the sugar into the butter and cream cheese, we're going to put the flour in first. And what this does is it coats the flour in the fat so that when we put in the liquid component, the egg, it deters gluten development, or those long chains of gluten from coming together, which gives you a softer cake. I'm also going to put the salt in now. Because the flour is coated in fat, it takes longer for the liquid to sort of get in there. One of the things about pound cake is people find it can be kind of dense, kind of stodgy, sometimes kind of dry. And this will hopefully sort of change that. I'm hoping that we get a lighter cake. Okay, last of the flour. I'm going to put in about half of the sugar. And vanilla. Let's put the vanilla in now. And the first egg. And we'll let the first egg mix in completely. Okay, I'm going to put the rest of the sugar in. And the next egg. I think this is a kind of cake that cries out for lemon. This is a cake definitely where I would put lemon zest into the cake batter and then juice the lemon, mix it with some sugar, put it in a pot, and boil it down to a sugar syrup, a sugar lemon syrup. Drizzle that syrup over the finished cake. I think that would be amazing. I don't have a lemon today, so we're not going to do that. I mean, I'm sure that you could put some lemon essence in here if you had it. Almond would work really well. Almond essence would work really well. Even some chopped almonds thrown in would be fantastic at the same time. Pretty versatile cake batter, I believe. Okay, last egg. In it goes. Okay, a bundt pan, greased and floured. And in goes the batter. This is one of those instances where I kind of wish I had a smaller bundt pan, maybe half size. Would be better for this amount of batter. I could have cooked this in a round tin. I could have cooked it in a square tin. Doesn't matter what shape of tin you use. Just kind of watch it when it's in the oven and adjust your cooking temperature. And if you wanted to do a full bundt tin, just double the ingredients. Everything. Multiply it by 2, double the ingredients, and you will fill the bundt tin. Okay, into the oven, 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'll come back and look at this in about 35 minutes and see how it's doing.
Hurrah, it's time for cake. Hey,
Jules.
friends. Hey, Glen.
So,
Ready.
it's a modified pound cake.
Clearly, it's not in its traditional shape.
I will tell you after.
How you modified it? What extra pound did you add? Well, that piece is too big, but don't look.
Jules got
Besides,
some
it was
chewing
a
to
little
do.
big. It was a little big. It's like a less dense pound cake.
Yes. So it is a modified pound cake.
Did you whip the crap out of it? Like, what'd you do?
So I swapped out most of the butter with cream cheese. I did a reverse creaming, so I creamed the flour with the fat before adding any of the liquid ingredients. So it coats the flour. You don't get those long gluten chains, and you get a much fluffier cake, don't you?
It is a fluffier. Yeah.
Like that texture is amazing.
It is a lighter version. Clearly, I've already had a whole bunch. Let's work it out. It won't toast as well, though.
And just a tiny little bit of tang from the cream cheese. Like there's a little bit of flavor from the cream cheese. Like I said earlier, lemon in that. Some lemon zest in the cake. Lemon juice and sugar syrup drizzle on top would be amazing.
Strawberries would go really nicely with it.
That would work really well.
Fresh strawberry compote, yep.
This is a cake for a smaller cake because we don't need cake. You can easily double the recipe and get a full bundt pan cake for a party or something like that. Or just cook that amount in a round cake tin. I'm sure that it's been done a million times over. It probably appeared on a cream cheese package somewhere.
Yeah. Nothing's new.
Nothing's new. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon. So I'm probably the worst YouTuber on YouTube.
I don't know about that, but you know.
Totally forgot. We've got these aprons, these snazzy Glen and Friends aprons. I'm supposed to tell you every 5 minutes to buy one. It would be great if you bought one, please. I would really appreciate that. These are made in Canada by a Canadian company out in Vancouver. Absolutely fantastic quality. It's a buy once, wear it forever type deal. But you could take your money and give it to charity. You know, I'm flying again with Hope Air this summer. That would be fantastic. We're also probably in a time period when there's a bigger need at food banks. So do that.